So, there are over 4,000 different religions across the whole world. Religion as a whole, is the belief in anything spiritual, the belief in a higher power, the belief in some sort of, higher energy, higher frequency, all that stuff, right? That's the whole premise of religion. To believe in otherworldly things. Not the physical things, not, the body, not just, material stuff, but actual, spiritual matter, spiritual things, spiritual otherworldly concepts that, the human mind just can't grasp. But I'm here to tell you that all of it is real. But hold on a second. I'm not saying that all 4,000 religions are correct and all of them are telling the truth. In fact, I am saying the exact opposite. I am saying that there is only one religion out of all of these 4,000 plus religions that have been accumulated over the past few thousand years. Only one religion is telling you the truth. Only one religion is not lying to you. Only one religion has all of it right, has all of it, described perfectly, has all of it described, in such a way that it's accurate. Not only is it accurate, but it is the absolute truth. However, we don't know everything. So not only is this specific religion telling you the truth, but it's telling you the truth without context. There is another spiritual world, spiritual realm out there. There is a kingdom out there. There is something out there. There absolutely is. And it's a lot more complicated than we think. But I am here to break it down for you in the most simplest, easiest way for you, whoever's watching, to understand. So, let's run it down, shall we? The most widely recognized world religions are Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism. So these are the major religions, on the face of the earth. Now, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Christianity is the only religion out of all of these religions that is telling you the truth. That means Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, all of these other 4,000 religions are lying to you. They are deceiving you. You, the person with a soul, with a spiritual body, you are not to take heed to all of these doctrines of demons. So, when it comes down to respect all religions, when it comes down to, me you know, being obliged to, respect everyone's belief, respect what everyone believes, you know, have this notion that I have to just, accept, people being deceived. No. 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 Because I don't care what your beliefs are. But if we're talking about the stability of the human race, if we're talking about the survival of the human race, you heard that correctly. If we are talking about the survival of the human race as a whole, the survival of people, the preservation of humanity as a whole, if we're talking about this, if this is what we're talking about, and believe me, this is exactly what we are talking about here, then no, I don't have to respect people that are leading other people to hell. This is a war zone, ladies and gentlemen. This reality is a war zone, a spiritual war zone, to be exact. Now, let me break it down for you. Heaven is real and hell is real. That's all you need to know. Heaven is real and hell is real as well. Forget about the stars. Forget about the other planets. Forget about the galaxies, the solar systems, the theory of the multiverse. Forget about these things. Obviously, these things are real. Obviously, all you have to do is, take out a telescope, at night, and you see all those shooting stars, and you see the planets with your telescope, right? You just see everything. Obviously, that's all real, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, where did all of it come from? I'm talking about, why is all of it here? I'm talking about what the point of all of it is. What's the point? What's the point? Why is it here? Why? Why? And why is it such a mystery? Why does it have to be so mysterious? Why? And then you understand. And then you understand that there is a reason for almost everything. And I am here today to give you the ultimate bottom line. That's right. The bottom line. The one. You could be 90 years old watching this. And thank God you're already not in the grave. And thank God you've come across this video. Because this video may have just saved your life. To put it plainly, ladies and gentlemen. To put it plainly. So, heaven is real, hell is real, God is real. What else is real? The angels are real, the demons are real. It's all real. It's a spiritual war, to put it plainly. Some of you may already know this. Some of you who may come across this video might know exactly what I'm talking about. But even you folks, you might have a lot to learn here as well. In fact, you may hear something that you probably never heard before in your lives. You may hear some things that you probably never heard before, not even once in your life. Not in the church, not in any sort of congregation. But nonetheless, you need to know. So, Christianity is the absolute truth, period. Now, obviously Christianity has a lot of history. Thousands of years worth of history. And we also know that Christianity came from Judaism. Rabbinic Judaism. All the way back, with Moses, with the Ten Commandments, going all the way back then. You may even make the argument that Judaism was the very first attempt at Christianity, because Judaism ultimately is the worship of Yahweh. And in Christianity we call Yahweh God the Father. He is a part of the Holy Trinity. And I'll get more on that in a little while, but first I need you guys to get a picture here. I'm not a theologian. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a deacon. I'm not any of that stuff. I haven't done thousands of hours worth of, biblical studies, or, seminaries, or, theological studies as a whole. I'm not that kind of person. But I don't need to be. Because not even they know what I know. In fact, I can probably help you out better than them. And they've done thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of biblical studies, seminaries. They studied the Torah, they studied the Talmud, they studied Judaism, Christianity. They studied everything. And you can go to them if you want. You can, search for them. You yourself, can become some sort of, theologian, some sort of, some sort of seminarian. You yourself, whoever's watching, you can do thousands of hours of theological research on your own, but that's not why I'm here. That's not why you're seeing this right now. That's not why you've come across this video. That's not. I'm not going to answer each and every single question that you have. I am here today to give you, whoever's watching, a general picture, a general idea about what is happening here. The state of the world, the state of humanity, the state of the spiritual realm. I can help you with the general idea, the general understanding, the general insight as to, to put it plainly, the general. The general sight. The general things you need to know. Because this affects you. That's right, you. You who are watching this right now, this affects you. And I have proof. I have proof. So, let me break it down. I know I keep saying this, but I just have to keep my train of thought moving, if that makes any sense. So, everyone has a soul. Everyone, every human being on earth has a soul. A soul is you. You are made up of 3 different components. A physical body, this body, your soul, and your spiritual body. Now, what's the difference between your soul and your spiritual body? There is a difference, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Because it's you, existing in the spiritual plane, in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world. Your soul and your spirit both existed in that reality. So that's pretty much, that's another conversation for another time. But ultimately, what you need to know is what happens when this physical body of yours dies. When it dies, when it goes 6 feet under, when it's perishing, no one knows if they have tomorrow, right? But guess what? You need to know what's going to happen after your physical body dies. Is there anything to look forward to? Yes. All you have to do is read the Bible. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it says. I'm not going to quote you scripture. But read the Bible for yourself. I've already told you that Christianity is the truth. But now I need you to just, hear me out. With what I have to say. So, once again, let me break it down. When you die, your soul, your spiritual body, leaves your body, shoots up to heaven, and stands before God to be judged. Now, will this happen immediately afterwards? I would like to believe so. The moment you physically die, your soul leaves your body, shoots up to heaven, where you will be standing before God to be judged for your entire life. Every single second of your life will be judged. Every thought that you ever had is recorded. Every word you have ever spoken is also recorded. And everything you've ever done is also recorded. Now, how it's recorded doesn't matter. It doesn't. But it's all recorded, everything you ever said, everything you ever did, everything you ever thought. It's all recorded somehow and in full context. So the intent, the motive, like what you were feeling at that specific time, of when you were thinking this, or when you said this, or when you did this, the heart, the motives of the heart, the intentions, right? You know how when you're talking to someone, you can only, understand, what they're saying to you. You can only hear what they have to say to you. But ultimately, you don't know what goes on in the heart, but somehow in the spiritual realm, they know what with timestamps. They have timestamps. They have spiritual timestamps. They know what was happening in here, in the heart, when they said this, or when they did this, or, whatever. So, that should be pretty scary already, right? You should be pretty scared after hearing this, right? Good. Call it motivation. Call it you being motivated. Because you desperately need motivation before it's too late. Forever too late, to be specific. Anyways, without further ado, once again, let's get into the details, shall we? Now, we all know about right? We all know about them. We all know what they're doing, what they're planning. We pretty much know the extent of their influence is. The one-eyed club, the secret society, the cult, the secrets within secrets club, You know all about it. So, what do they have to do with any of this? Well, to put it plainly, everything. Folks, I need you to understand something. This is a spiritual war that is being fought in the physical world. This is a spiritual war being fought in the physical world. Now, hold on a second. What do I mean by this? I mean that when we have over 60 million abortions since like the 1970s in America alone, I mean, those are all sacrifices, child sacrifices, offerings to Baal, 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 and Moloch. Just that alone is, Satanism in of itself. Abortion is Satanism. Now, let me put it plainly. Am I saying anyone who has ever had an abortion is a Satanist? No, I'm saying the practice in of itself, the culture behind abortion, is Satanism. It is satanic in its nature. Now, this goes all the way back in the Bible. Read the Bible, folks. You'll know what I'm talking about. Or, some people already watching this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Back in the ancient times, they used to make sacrifices to Baal and Moloch, and they still do it to this day, both in public and in private. But you never read anything about it, you never hear about it, because it's all hush-hush, the secrets within secrets. Anyways, moving on. What are they planning? Okay, they have all the money in the world. They have all the connections in the world. They have connections in Hollywood, the music industry, politics, commerce. They're running all sorts of businesses. They're pretty much, dominant in influence. They are the princes of this world. They are the kings and the queens of this world, by all means. They have all this money, and they have all these businesses, and, they're in control of all world governments, right? But, is that it? Is that it? Is it all about money? Is it all about dominating the free market? Being in control of world governments simply to push agendas, whether it be political agendas, social agendas, economic agendas, like any agenda. Is that the whole point? Is the whole point, just to push, agendas onto the masses? Is that really it? Or is there more to the story? A lot more to the story than we originally thought. And the answer is not the former, but the latter. There is a lot more to the story than just pushing agendas onto the masses. There's a lot more to the story than just making money and making the most money and dominating the free market. No. There is a lot more to it, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't about money. This isn't about politics. This isn't about pushing agendas. This is about capturing your soul. You heard that correctly, ladies and gentlemen. They, the One-Eyed Club, they want to capture your soul. Now, you may or may not have heard about all these celebrities selling their souls. You may or may not have heard about, the most famous people, the most richest people, the most powerful people selling their soul to the devil for fame and money. You may have heard of that, but now I have another concept to present to you altogether. What if the One-Eyed Club, the Covering One Eye Club, the Baphomet worshippers, the Baal worshippers, the Moloch worshippers. What if I told you that they were deceiving everyone, deceiving the whole masses into not selling their souls, but rather giving their souls away for free? What if I told you that the One-Eyed Club, right? What if I told you that they were tricking everyone into throwing away their souls? Taking up, the souls leave their bodies and just thrown away, right? What if I told you that the One-Eyed Club tricked the whole masses, tricked the whole world, tricked everyone into throwing away their souls? Because we all know what, the One-Eyed Club, we all know what they serve. We all know who they serve. Satan, Lucifer, the devil, the fallen angel, the angel that fell from heaven. They serve Satan, the king of hell, the prince of hell. The place that I told you was real. Yeah, these guys, they serve him. They serve your greatest enemy, ladies and gentlemen. So how does this work? Well, let me break it down for you. What's this? A headphone pouch, right? A branded headphone patch. And we all know what, this headphone brand is. We all know what this headphone brand is. It's Beats by Dre, right? Who's Dr. Dre? Someone who sold his soul? Damn right. That's exactly who Dr. Dre is. Someone who sold his soul to the devil for fame and money. Just another music industry sellout. Now, I want you to notice something. This is supposed to be a B, right? This is supposed to be a B. This is supposed to be the letter B, in lowercase, right? But what number does it look like? It looks like a 6. It looks like a 6. Now, why the number 6? I think we all know why the number 6. The company, Beats by Dre, is a very successful business venture. Now, what does this mean? What does it mean for the average person? Why should the average person even care, even pay attention? Because this is how they get your soul, ladies and gentlemen. This is how they capture your soul, ladies and gentlemen. By you participating in the world, in the systems of this world. By you, using the dollar, the Illuminati dollar. By you simply using it, you are making transactions with your soul. The thing that you're going to have for all of eternity, this physical body, this flesh, it is passing away in the blink of an eye, ladies and gentlemen. You will die one day. But here's the thing. The only thing that Satan has, the only thing that Satan possesses, is this world and everything in this world. This world belongs to Satan. Satan is the god of this world, ladies and gentlemen. But you need to understand that everything in this world belongs to him. Everything worldly belongs to Satan. Everything secular, everything not of God, automatically belongs to Satan. I need you guys to understand this. I need you guys to understand that this is really bad. There are countless ways for you to lose your soul in this world. Now, hold on a second. Does this mean you should give up? Does this mean that it's all over already? No. And I'm going to explain to you why. It's only over when it's over. The moment you draw your last breath, ladies and gentlemen, is the exact moment in which it is over. The only fighting chance you will ever have is when you're still physically alive on the earth. This is the only fighting chance that you will ever have against all this delusion and deception and, mass psychosis. Massive, wide-scale psychological operations, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only fighting chance that you will ever have when you're still alive to fight. When you are still alive to fight for your soul. I'm not talking about taking up arms. I'm not talking about guns and weapons. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the battle for your soul, ladies and gentlemen. The battle for your soul, the battle for your eternity. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a physical war. It's a spiritual war that is being fought in the physical. Now, what does this mean? Does it mean guns and knives and missiles and tanks? No. No. It means this. It means the things of this world. It means everything you're hearing everything you're seeing, the media, the mass media, the mainstream media, as you would like to call it, you know, medication, medicine, you know, this, the pills. You know what that's called in the Bible? That's called pharmakia. And what is pharmakia, ladies and gentlemen? It is witchcraft. I have a lot to say on witchcraft as a whole, ladies and gentlemen, but hold on. First, we need to, go digging. First, I need to tell you exactly what you need to know. First, so, let me break it down, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to die one day. You're going to stand before God. And either demons will be dragging you away, pulling you away as fast as they possibly can, or you will hold your ground and you will stand firm. You will stand with faith. And hopefully after this video, you'll live by faith. And hopefully you learn a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even halfway done. And you're probably already scared shitless. Aren't you, folks? I was too. But now I see everything. For the very first time in my life, I see everything now. Believe me, I wish I was never born. But it is far too late for that now. This is a moving train, ladies and gentlemen. This is a moving train that will not and cannot stop. You, ladies and gentlemen, are going through time. You are passing through time. Time is ruthless. Time doesn't care about your feelings. Time could care less about you at all. And this train, this constant, always moving train, will have a last stop, and that last stop, ladies and gentlemen, is the physical death, the first death. So, let's begin, shall we? Okay. There is a highly advanced, a highly organized, country, place, kingdom, there is a specific place that all the evil spirits, the unclean spirits, the demonic spirits, go to, and I'm not talking about hell, but it does come close, and it's on the earth. So this, very specific place is underwater. So it's under the Atlantic Ocean, and it could be also under the Indian Ocean as well. It's huge. It is huge. It is, it is big. But I know it's under the Atlantic Ocean. I know it's under the Indian Ocean. But it is absolutely huge. It's like, the size of a continent. But not just, any like a really big continent, like North America or South America, not like Antarctica. Not like that. No, this is huge. This is a huge, highly organized kingdom, place, whatever you want to call it. And let me break it down for you, what this place is. I just told you that it's all, it's all about demonic spirits, unclean spirits. All the demons go there, all the demons gather there, and it's pretty much like, their second home or their home on the earth, on the surface. Well, technically not, but you get what I'm trying to say. Their home on the earth. Outside of hell, of course. Hell is where they're all supposed to be, but sometimes they're on the earth. And, well, to put it plainly, ladies and gentlemen, they are on the earth. So, there is a history behind this place. We are going all the way back to the book of Genesis. We are going all the way back to the times of Noah, the days of Noah, when God flooded the whole earth. So, in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, the Lord God, He created the heavens and the earth. He created all the animals. He created Adam and Eve. He created the Garden of Eden. And we all know the story that Adam and Eve, bit the fruit, the apple, whatever. Then they were kicked out of the garden. And now, all hell breaks loose on the earth, right? Everything has been cursed. No more Garden of Eden. No more access to the Garden of Eden. And now, it's, pretty much survival mode. You know how, in Minecraft there's creative mode and survival mode. It's not like that, but, hunger, thirst, death, hatred, all of that stuff, right? Pretty much in survival mode now. Pretty much, you're out there. You gotta survive. You gotta, hunt animals for food. You gotta plant, crops. Life, pretty much. When life sucks, when life is hard, it's pretty much only because of that. It's only because, of what happened, in the Garden of Eden. Life sucks. Life is hard. Life is difficult. Because, humanity was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. I'm telling you guys plainly right now. The reason why life sucks, the reason why life feels so terrible, the reason why life, feels like a drag is because we are no longer in the Garden of Eden, ladies and gentlemen. The Garden of Eden was paradise on the earth. The earth was supposed to be a place of paradise. not of hard work, not of sacrifice, not of you know, how would I call it? Not a place where you're supposed to, live like a slave. Life on the earth was never supposed to be like that, ladies and gentlemen. Life was not supposed to be like that. Life was not supposed to be you being a slave, being a wage slave, a literal slave. Life was never all about, you working to death, just to feed yourself and your family. Life was never about that. It's all vanity. It's all idolatry, ladies and gentlemen. I need you guys to understand that this is all not what it's supposed to be. Life is not what it's supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand because you don't do much thinking about this. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So, after the fall in the Garden of Eden, after, they bit the fruit, everything has become cursed, everything has become survival mode. Somewhere, along the line, fallen angels came down to earth, slept with, human women, and then the babies were called Nephilim. So they're giants, but they're not like human giants, not like the giants that you would normally see. They're not like, they're not humanoid in appearance, is what I'm trying to say. Well, they're not human in appearance. It's not like you were to see a man's face, right? And if I was, just big or very tall, or it's not like a 30-foot tall man, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like that. These giants, these Nephilim, they're demons. They're half human, half fallen angel, which means, vampire-like teeth, pointy ears, right? They look like they look like demons. They look like demons. They're scary, and they just happen to be 30-foot tall, 40-foot tall, huge in comparison to the average man, of course. But yeah, these Nephilim, they're not giants like you would normally think about giants. They are demons. Their fathers, their biological fathers, are fallen angels, and obviously fallen angels are demons, so naturally they're demons, but they just happen to be half demon and half human and like 30-foot tall, like I mentioned before. Anyways, these things were walking on the earth, killing people, killing human beings left and right, stomping on them like you would stomp on cockroaches, stomping on them, doing all sorts of things to them. Having a really bad time. People were having a really bad time back then. Nothing but wickedness on the earth. Nothing but destruction and chaos on the earth. And then eventually God sent the flood. He told Noah to build an ark a little over 1,000 years after, Adam and Eve were kicked out. I did some calculations, and apparently it was about 1,400 years from the point where, Adam and Eve were kicked out to when God sent the flood. About 1,400 years or so. So that's 1,400 years of, demons walking around on the earth, killing people left and right. That's 1,400 years of about, utter devastation and chaos and wickedness and filthiness, on the earth. And then ultimately God sent the flood to, to destroy the earth, to wipe the earth clean with every unclean thing. And then, when Noah and everyone else on the ark, when it was time for them to leave the ark, to start a new world, right? You would think that that's the end of the story. You would think that now it's just, now it's purely spiritual, right? The physical threat has been eliminated, and now it's only the spiritual threat that remains. And this could not be further from the truth, ladies and gentlemen. When the flood came to wipe all these demons, all these monsters away from the earth, mind you, it's a flood. So it's water, a lot of water. What's in water? What's in the ocean? What's in the sea? Fish, right? Aqua life, aquatic life, marine biology, right? So, to put it plainly, when the flood came, right, to wipe these monsters, these demons, these Nephilim off of the face of the earth, to destroy them, to kill them, some of them still survived. Some of them somehow fused with, the fish, the marine life. Somehow they infused. Somehow they became fish-like. They became, they became marine creatures. Somehow, I don't know how. I'm assuming this is like heavy magic. I'm assuming that this is some sort of incantation stuff. I'm assuming this is, spiritual abilities. I'm not too sure. Again, these are demons we're talking about. Demons are masters at witchcraft and sorcery and everything supernatural. Demons are masters at these things. So during the flood, during, everything being wiped off of the face of the earth, the whole flood, that was sent on the entire earth, some of them still survived. Some of these demons, some of these Nephilim, they still survived. They didn't die. It didn't wipe them all out. And I'm assuming, at the last second, to preserve themselves, they did some sort of magic or some sort of like spiritual abilities. I can't put it into words. But it's something like saving yourself at the last minute, ladies and gentlemen. So, who can survive a flood? Fish can, right? Fish, aqua life, right? Marine life, marine biology. They can survive underwater. So what these Nephilim did, what happened, according to my understanding, is that they became infused. They infused themselves with, fish, like anything that can live underwater, anything that lives underwater, anything that, can survive underwater, that can breathe underwater, like gills. At the last second, They made an attempt to save themselves, and it worked. So, these Nephilim, these fallen angels, fallen angel hybrids, these scary monsters, whatever, they became mermaids. You heard that correctly, folks. They became mermaids and mermen. So, let me put it plainly. Now they can live underwater, breathe underwater, survive underwater. And now they have a whole ocean or oceans worth of exploring to do, colonizing to do, building to do, everything. Now, they have a whole underwater civilization to establish, in other words. And what happens is, they do exactly that. They start building. They start again. They start a new life. They start building an underwater kingdom. And ladies and gentlemen, do I have to remind you that these are highly advanced spiritual beings? These are demons. These are masters of witchcraft and sorcery and magic. All of the supernatural things that you can think about. They are masters at these things. Masters. They're not like, a human being with limited understanding, limited capability, short lifespan. No. These are highly advanced spiritual beings. Your mind can't even comprehend what they're capable of. You can't. You just simply can't. But let me break it down for you. They started to build. They started to build. They were building. They were doing it. And they have a name for it. It's called the Marine Kingdom. This is their headquarters. This is their, their base of operations. This is the place for the, for them, for the demons in hell. Because again, hell is inside of the earth. Hell is inside, right? Hell is, in the earth, right? In the earth. The earth is what, like a... How do I... the earth is a ball, right? The earth is like a ball, right? Like a... Like a ball, right? And inside, the core, the mantle, right? That's where hell is. That's where, the spiritual hell is. It's inside of the earth. It's inside the earth's core. It's inside the mantle. You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, I can't. I can't really put it in words, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That's where hell is located, spiritually, right? The location. Anyways, so this is happening. The marine kingdom is, inside the ocean, underwater, and right below, underwater is the core, the mantle, inside the earth. So that's where hell is. Hell is directly below the marine kingdom, because hell is inside of the earth's core, the mantle. Anyways, so this is their base of operations. This is what they're doing. This is what they're, this is the place for them to go. And I have some information about this place. It is a civilization. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You heard that right. You know how we have billions of people on the surface, right? What, like over 195 countries, right? 8 billion people, right? Yeah. They have something like that down there too. They have probably billions of mermaids, mermen down there too. They probably have all sorts of things down there too. They have all sorts of places to go, places to visit, all of that stuff. What you would have on the surface, chances are they have it in that marine kingdom, underwater as well. Now, hold on a sec. I know what you're thinking, right? If it's underwater, we would have found it by now, right? If it's underwater, if it's in the ocean, we would have known about this right now, right? Well, I have a few things to say to that. First of all, don't forget who's in charge of this entire world. Don't forget that they can cover up anything. Don't forget that. Don't forget that they can make anyone disappear, can have all evidence erased, all evidence, seemingly non-existent. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Now, if we're talking about like technology, technological advancements, well, I have news for you. It all comes from that place. You heard me. Your computers, your phones, your TVs, all of it originated in that marine kingdom. Now hold on a second. What do you mean? A TV, a phone, a computer was made in the ocean. Electronics, electronics can't survive, in water. They can't sustain water damage, right? Of course, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the concepts of TVs, phones, internet, cameras. I'm talking about the concepts. I'm not talking about the factories. Obviously, the factories are on the surface. The factories are in, in inside the cities, inside the states, of course. But I'm talking about the blueprints. I'm talking about like the concepts, like how to make a camera, how to make a phone, how to make a keyboard, like any technology, right? Like the blueprints for them, the schematics. Where did it come from? It came from that place. It came from the Marine Kingdom, most likely. Now, I know what you're going to say. Do I have proof for all of this? Do I have evidence to support all of my claims, each and every single one of my claims? Of course not. You're just going to have to take my word for it, whoever's listening. This is absolutely real. I have no intention of deceiving you. I have no intention of lying to you. I gain nothing from this. I'm not making any money from this whatsoever. I'm not putting advertisements on this video. I'm not monetizing this video. I expect to make no money from this whatsoever. This is probably going to be the only video that I'm going to be making for a very long time. I don't plan on, doing interviews or going places or meeting new people. This is just one video that I'm making this one time. So, whoever wants to listen, whoever can listen, please hear me out just this one time. I gain nothing from this. I just want to help you guys understand, whoever's out there, that we're not alone, And I'm not talking about aliens. I'm not talking about ET. I'm talking about, the stuff that you would read in the Bible. We're not alone on this earth. We're not alone in this world. We're not. So I need you guys to understand that this is a spiritual war. This is absolutely real. And you need to pay attention. You guys need to pay attention to all of this. Because this affects you. When you die, are you going to heaven? Or are you going to hell? Because if you're going to hell, you have no chance. You can't even handle when you put your water. You can't even handle it. When you put your hand under boiling hot water, you can't handle that. So what makes you think you're going to handle hell? You can't handle hell. What makes you think that you can handle burning constantly over and over and over again? You can't handle it. You can't. You'll wish that you were never born. So I need you guys to just hear me out on this, please. Respectfully, of course, respectfully. Just please hear me out. Okay, please. Just this once. I probably won't be making any more videos. If I do, it's probably because I kinda might need to. But I hope I don't have to. I hope I can clarify everything right here, right now. Anyways. So. That being said. This underwater kingdom, this marine kingdom, they know how to hide themselves. They know how to hide themselves. From any eyes or any ears, they know how to hide themselves. They probably have cloaking technology, highly advanced cloaking technology. They won't be appearing on any radars, on any scanners, anything like that. And of course, it's in the deep ocean. You know how deep the ocean is? You know how it goes all the way down? Yeah. It's deep in the ocean. The ocean is huge. But it's so deep as well. And, they're probably somewhere in the deepest parts, if I'm not mistaken. So this kingdom, this place that spans, that stretches like stretches to be like a continent of some kind, like the size of a continent, right? It's probably somewhere down in the deepest oceans, the deepest depths. That's where the kingdom is. It's not, close to the surface. It's actually really, really deep down. Anyways. Oh. So, all the technology is made there. All the blueprints, all the schematics, everything. And that's also where the spiritual prisons are as well. So, let me give you an example. This is your physical body, right? But let's say, hypothetically speaking, of course, you were to drink, a bottle of Coke, like any branded soda, right? So what happens is, it's not, poisonous or anything, of course. It's not going to harm your physical health, not really, if it's just, drinking it one time, a bottle of soda, right? It's not harmful for your physical body, not really. If it's just once. But what happens is during that moment, right? If you were to just, drink a soda can, nothing happens to your physical body, and it's not like you're poisoned or you're burning from the inside out. But what happens is your soul leaves your body, and you don't even know it. So your soul, right, your soul that's in your body leaves your body, and it goes all the way down to the marine kingdom. So you are trapped in a spiritual prison. You are trapped there. You are trapped all the way down into a spiritual prison in the marine kingdom. Yeah, like, in the deep underwater place. Your soul is trapped there. And in Christianity, the only solution to this is deliverance. So you need to get delivered from these spiritual prisons. And of course you can only do that, through the power of Jesus Christ, the power of God. He can free you from the marine kingdom captivity. He can free you from it. He can set you free, and he can put your soul back in your body. Now, I just gave you an analogy. I just gave you one example of how this would normally work. But like I said, the club, yeah, they're everywhere. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, all you have to do is just use money. And all of a sudden they have what would be called ties to your soul. So soul ties. So what happens is these soul ties, it's obviously spiritual things that are connected to your soul. So it's something that, really happened on the earth. Something that happened when you were still physically alive on the earth, right? So if you drank a soda can, or if you wore a t-shirt with a triangle symbol on it, or if you, if you, if you ate food, like any food that was sacrificed to idols. What happens is, the same thing pretty much. Your soul leaves your body, goes down into the marine kingdom to be trapped into that spiritual prison. And let me give you the harsh truth about what exactly happens, when that takes place. So you're a prisoner, like handcuffed, shackled, in a jumpsuit, whatever, spiritually, and they can do whatever they want with you. These demons, these Nephilim, they can do whatever they want to you. You are essentially split into two different people, and you don't even know it. This is, your physical. You have your physical body, you have your physical fleshly existence, and you have your soul, your spiritual body. And obviously your physical body is not in a prison in the marine kingdom, obviously not. But your soul is, your spiritual body is, and you don't see what your spiritual body, sees. You don't feel what your spiritual body feels. You can be stabbed by a demon in your spiritual body, in your soul, and you would never feel it in your physical body. I want you guys to understand that this is exactly what is going on here. To billions of people without them knowing. You're split into two, ladies and gentlemen. You, the person, the individual, whoever's watching this right now, you are split into two. You are two different people at any given time, ladies and gentlemen. I need you guys to understand that there is so much you don't know about the spiritual world, the operations of the spiritual world, the spiritual realm, whatever you want to call it. It's a different reality. It's a different plane of existence. It's a different dimension altogether. You guys can't comprehend this stuff. You guys can't possibly, you guys can't grasp these concepts. We are too primitive as a species, as as creatures. We can't comprehend this stuff. This stuff is simply too advanced. This is what what dimension is this? The third dimension? The first dimension, this is 3D. This is 3D, I think. But these guys, these spiritual beings, they're in the fifth dimension. They are way ahead of us. They are leagues way ahead of us. They are operating in a different frequency altogether. They are, this whole spiritual world, this whole spiritual realm, it is highly advanced, ladies and gentlemen. Too advanced for our primitive minds to comprehend, to understand. This is us trying to understand things that, things that we were never really meant to understand, ladies and gentlemen. In the book of Enoch, the Watchers, the fallen angels, whatever, they were teaching human beings, prohibited things. They were teaching them witchcraft and all sorts of things, right? But that was prohibited. It was prohibited for a reason. It was off limits. They weren't allowed to do that for a reason. So they did it anyways, obviously, and what happened is, nothing good. Nothing good came out of it. And, to put it plainly, this stuff is simply not, in our league. This stuff is, we cannot possibly keep up with this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Even I don't understand, and I'm hoping to get to the very bottom of this one day, ladies and gentlemen. But even I don't understand these things, not entirely. But I do know, well, what I know, and I would like to, share it with you all today. Whoever wants to listen, whoever wants to, hear what I have to say. I have a lot of things to say, and I want to help, whoever's listening to get a better picture, to have a clearer understanding of, what it is that is happening, what it is that is going on here. The state of humanity, the state of the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, and even the state of God, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, you heard me. The state of God. Folks, let me ask you a question. Do you think that God has feelings? Do you think that God is happy sometimes, sad sometimes, angry sometimes? Do you think that God, has feelings, has emotions? Of course he does. He does. He absolutely does. But you see, his story is pretty unique. God's story is pretty unique, ladies and gentlemen. Because God sees everything. God knows everything. God experiences everything, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to be hurt in countless different ways? Do you want to be in 8 billion different places at once? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. But guess what? Who doesn't have a choice when it comes down to this? That's right, God. God sees all. God knows all. Every murder, every rape, every crime, every domestic violence, nature, all the bad things that are happening in the world. He has to know about it. He has to see it. He has to hear it. He has to experience it in full detail, as if he was not only there, but as if, he, was the one that was doing it. Even though he didn't do it. But you have to understand that this is a different plane of existence, a different reality as a whole. So what happens is he can see things in the third person, but also in the first person as well. So how you see with your physical eyes, how you see with your two eyes, right? You see your hand, you see, your strands of hair. God can also have that perspective as well. So he can see things in the first person and in the third person as well. He has a whole perspective, ladies and gentlemen. He knows all, he sees all, he experiences all, and ultimately, he is very grieved. He has been very grieved since the beginning of time, ladies and gentlemen. Since Adam and Eve bit that fruit in that garden, the Garden of Eden, ever since the first betrayal, the first disobedience, the first rebellion, ever since that very moment, he has been grieved time and time again, until ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, until the machine of how things are, how things work, until the machine never stops working. Life, the machine of life, the system of life, to the point of where, God is grieved at one point in human history, and it never stops. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going until he destroys the earth completely, until he's done with the earth completely, ladies and gentlemen. His pain, his suffering, his tears will only stop now when he destroys the entire earth, when he destroys this world completely. This is the only case, this is the only circumstance in which his pain and his suffering and his tears come to an end. It is that bad, ladies and gentlemen. The situation is that bad. It has been bad. It has been code red for thousands of years. But now that America, Mystery Babylon, is even worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you guys don't know what Sodom and Gomorrah is, read the Bible. America is far worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. We are in the last seconds of the last days, ladies and gentlemen. The church age is coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on to the most important part of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, how to go to heaven. How to inherit the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. Now, again, I'm not a theologian, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher or evangelist or missionary or anything like that. I'm not R.C. Sproul. I'm not, I'm not Paul Washer. I'm not your average, church guy. I'm not. I am far from that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't matter. It's not like, I'm not trying to be prideful. I'm not trying to elevate myself. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a deacon, I'm not a bishop, I'm not any of those things. But I need you guys to understand something. Okay, I need you guys to understand something. If we're talking about theology, if we're talking about, Christian theology to be specific, right? We have the Old Testament and the New Testament. We have the book of Genesis, and then it goes all the way to the book of Revelation. So that's 66 books altogether, right? 4 Gospels, the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Again, I'm not a theologian. I'm not here, to lead you to the Bible, and that's it. End of discussion. No. Because I have some very interesting information that I want to share with you. Whoever is listening, hopefully some Christians are listening, because they especially need to hear this. It's not what they want to hear, but ultimately this is exactly what they need to hear. Ladies and gentlemen. So, I have confirmation that 99% of churches and Christians are going to hell, alongside with 100% of the world, Hinduism, Buddhism, all major religions, all of these 4,000 plus religions, right? I have confirmation, that alongside, with them, all of these religions and their followers, alongside with 100% of them going to hell. Like I said before, the one religion, right? The one religion that was telling you the truth, and its followers. I have bad news. 99% of them, ladies and gentlemen, 99% of Christians and churches and pastors and denominations, all of it, they are also joining, the rest of the 100% of the world in hell. Unfortunately. Now, why is this? Why should any believer in Jesus Christ, why should anyone who believes in Jesus Christ for their salvation go to hell? They got saved, right? The whole point of Christianity is that Jesus Christ died on the cross and rose from the dead 3 days later for the sins of all mankind, that anyone who has faith in him shall be saved. Anyone that calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Anyone who believes, anyone who has faith, anyone who confesses with their mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord shall be saved. And they go to church and they read their Bible, and they pray and they do fasting, and they have spiritual gifts, right? Why are 99% of these people going to hell, joining the rest of the 100% of the world in hell? Why? Well, because, ladies and gentlemen, historically speaking, people haven't been living for the Lord right. They haven't been living for God right. So, let me give you an example. There are self-proclaimed Christians that think they're doing right, that they go to church, they read their Bible, they pray, they fast. They even hear God's voice, whether it be audible or in another way. They hear his voice, right? They hear him, and they do what he tells them to do. They go wherever he tells them to go. And ultimately it's like, it's like a walkie-talkie kind of relationship. Something like that. A radio, right? Check in, right? Kind of like that. But obviously this is God we're talking about, so it's, not exactly like that, of course. It's just an analogy. Don't get mad. Don't, start screaming or anything like that. I'm just making an analogy, right? Hearing God's voice, is absolutely necessary and vital, for the eternal security of your soul. To put it plainly, ladies and gentlemen, you need to hear God's voice if you are trying to make it into heaven. He won't allow, a stranger into his house, because you wouldn't allow a stranger into your house. You need to know the person. You need to, make sure that you have a relationship with them. Make sure that they like you and you like them. Otherwise, you're not going to let just, anyone into your house. Of course not. Of course not. So, anyways, folks, the situation is very, very, very bad. I have to tell you the harsh truth because no one else will tell you. Okay? This is really bad, ladies and gentlemen. 99% of Christians historically will end up in hell. 99% of self-proclaimed Christians, pastors, church members are going to hell. And this is a historical number, ladies and gentlemen. This is historically speaking. This is, in all of human history. Every Christian in all of human history. Every, Bible-believing Christian, every churchgoer, every church member, 99% of them historically are going to hellfire with no chance of getting out whatsoever. You guys should be really scared. Really, 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 really scared. The only fighting chance you have is whatever time you have left here on the earth, ladies and gentlemen, and I have confirmation as well that this year, 2024, this will be a devastating year for humanity. I need you guys to understand. I need you to understand, whoever's listening, that you need to give your life to Jesus Christ right now. You need to start believing in the Bible. You need to start going to church. You need to start praying. You need to start hearing His voice. And you need to start living for Him. Now, in regards to, 99% of Christians, pastors, churches going to hell, the reason why they're going to hell is because they weren't living properly. They weren't living for God properly. So let me give you an example. Let's say, right, you thought you were living for God. You thought that you were going to church. You thought that you were, doing everything a Christian would normally do, and you thought that you would be pleasing to God, right? Wrong. Turns out you were deceived the entire time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you the harsh truth again. You are to do nothing on your own. Let me say that again. You are to do nothing on your own. You, ladies and gentlemen, you are to do nothing on your own. You are not to make a single decision on your own ever again. So, in regards to decision making, it can be the simplest of decisions. I can, turn to the left or turn to the right. I can, grab this. I can choose to grab, something, anything, right? I can choose to pick up this, or this, or crack my knuckles. These are all decisions, right? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You are not to make a single decision of any kind on your own ever again. In fact, you have the responsibility to hand over the very concept of decision making over to God. So again, it could be as simple as picking something up, going to the bathroom. Well, not really, but, going out to eat, calling someone on your phone, any decision you would make on your own, ladies and gentlemen. You are not to make a single decision on your own ever again. This is extremely difficult, but ultimately, if this doesn't get done, then you have no chance of entering into the kingdom of heaven. So, not only are you supposed to hear God's voice, right? But you are supposed to, go wherever He tells you to go, do whatever He tells you to do. You're pretty much a slave, ladies and gentlemen. You are a slave to God. It's not like He's holding a whip and He's ready to whip you at any time. It's not like that. No, it's not. But it's not comfortable either, ladies and gentlemen. This will be, by far, the most difficult thing that you will ever attempt to do in your entire life. But, if you do this, and if you, continue doing this, if you're living your life in this way, for as long as you possibly can, up until your death, then I assume that your chances of entering into the kingdom of heaven are not 0% or 5% or 10%, but more like at least 70%, at least 80%. You have at least a 70 or 80% chance of entering into the kingdom of heaven, of going to heaven when you die. If you live like this, and if you die in this state, your chances go up exponentially, ladies and gentlemen. Your chances of going to heaven soar through the roof. Before it was a 5% chance at most, a 10% chance at most, but now it's like 70 or 80%. Now you have a real fighting chance to enter into heaven, to go to heaven when you die. Now, don't listen to all these preachers and pastors and, theologians. Don't listen to any of these church denominations. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to these people, because they are going to hell regardless. They are going to hell and they don't even know it. They are so deep in their delusion that they believe in doctrines like once saved, always saved, without even knowing what salvation is in the first place, without even fully grasping what salvation is in the first place. A lot of them are cessationists. So what is cessationism? Cessationism is pretty much the notion that the gifts of the Spirit have ceased, and the spiritual gifts are not for today, which is a complete mockery of the Lord and His power. It's quite literally the unforgivable sin, ladies and gentlemen, to be a cessationist, to believe in the doctrine of cessationism, to believe that the spiritual gifts have ceased or have stopped. This is blasphemy. This is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, ladies and gentlemen. This is the unforgivable sin that is mentioned in the Bible. So stay away from these churches. Stay away from these pastors. Don't listen to them. Do not pay any attention to them. If they're fighting in the comments section, let them fight. I don't care. I don't care. Like I said, 99% of churches and pastors and deacons and evangelists and missionaries, 99% of Christians as a whole are never going to heaven. Do you know what that means? It means you cannot trust a single church. Period. Not a single church building, not a single church denomination can help you go to heaven, because they themselves are not going to heaven, ladies and gentlemen. We need a completely new Christianity. And I'm not talking about New Age stuff, New Age practices. I'm not talking about, adding onto the Bible or something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a new Christianity altogether. Because Christianity, since its inception, as a concept, has failed, ladies and gentlemen. The goal was to bring souls into the kingdom of heaven. The goal was to bring souls into God's kingdom. But clearly, ladies and gentlemen, that plan, statistically speaking, is a failure. That plan has failed. So now we need a new Christianity, a new way of doing church, a new way of doing theology. Like everything has to be different, ladies and gentlemen, but we don't have that kind of time. Like I said, we are living in the last seconds of the last days, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have time to make a new Christianity, to start a new Christianity. We don't have time for this, ladies and gentlemen. It's already over. We are getting ready to pack our things. The rapture is happening at any moment, ladies and gentlemen. The rapture of the church. Which church? The Philadelphian church. The Philadelphian church that is mentioned in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. Only one church. But how many members are in this one church is unknown. At least thousands, but hopefully millions. Again, it's all spiritual. It's not a church building, on this street or on this avenue or on this boulevard. It's not a physical church. It's a spiritual church, ladies and gentlemen. The Philadelphian church is a spiritual church, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only church that is going up in the clouds. This is the only church that is going up to heaven. This is the only church that will inherit the kingdom of God. And, well, to put it plainly, ladies and gentlemen, you need to start thinking outside of the box. You, ladies and gentlemen, forget everything you think you know. This is not what it seems, ladies and gentlemen. Reality is not what it seems at all. People go to work one day and they come home and they sleep and they never wake up again. After a long days of hard work, feeding yourself, feeding your family, you don't have tomorrow. And that's just how things are. No one knows if they have tomorrow. You can work for money, you can work for, for your honor, to be a man, to feed yourself and your family. You can gain this whole world, ladies and gentlemen. You can work so hard for this world and the things of this world to preserve your life, but ultimately it's all in vain, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimately, all these concepts of, of hard work and sacrifice, all of these concepts of living for the world, like being worldly, as Christians would like to call it. People are not having the right perspective. People don't have the right perspective. People are not living right. People are not doing things right. People are not going to heaven, period. God, the creator of the universe, the creator of all things, He is holy. He is a holy God. He is a righteous God. And He will pour out His wrath upon people when they die and stand before Him to be judged. He will pour out His wrath upon these people, ladies and gentlemen. If you had a family member that died, if you had, people that you knew that already died, I'm sorry to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry to give you the bad news, but they're probably in hell. And unless you want to join them, then you have to do what I told you. You have to do what I said you should do. Don't believe me? Fine. Don't believe me. I'm crazy? Fine, I'm crazy. You can click off. You can, shrug this off. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to believe a word I say. I'm not going to be begging you on my hands and knees to listen to me. I'm giving you the bottom line, the absolute bottom line in one video. And if you don't want to hear it, then you don't have to. You don't have to, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to hear anything I have to say. You don't have to listen to what I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. You can call me crazy. You can call me insane. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever. But one thing is for sure, ladies and gentlemen, is that one day you will find out. One day you will find out whether or not I was telling you the truth, or if I was just another crazy guy on the internet who's seeking for attention or money, even though I'm proving that I'm not. You'll probably never see me again. This is probably the only video I'm going to make about this, ladies and gentlemen. Your call. Your choice. You decide what's the truth and what's not the truth. And I am just some random guy on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know me. I don't know you. We're not friends. We're not buddies. We are not associates. We don't know each other. And guess what? No one knows anything. What do you know? Whoever's on the other side of that screen, what do you know? What do you know about life? What do you know about reality or different realities? What do you know about different dimensions, different planes? What do you know? Whoever's on the other side of this screen, let me ask you, what do you know? How much do you know about the very reality that you are living in right now? How much do you know about your government? How much do you know about your personal friends? Where were they last night? Where were they last Friday? What were they doing? How much do you really know? Is the question I'm trying to ask you right now. How much do you know about yourself, ladies and gentlemen? Start using your brain. Start thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Before it is forever too late. God bless you all, and may the Lord Jesus Christ be with you all.